Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I am Justin Watcutt, the Acting United States Attorney for Idaho. I am pleased to be joined today by Idaho Governor Brad Little, Rob Wardle, the Assistant Special Agent in charge for the Drug Enforcement Administration, Idaho State Police Major Sean Staley, and Chad Page, the Chief of Prisons for the Idaho Department of Corrections, as well as members of the Idaho State Police, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the U.S. Attorney's Office that worked on the case that we're here to talk about today. Today we are here to highlight an investigation that culminated in 2 drug trafficking federal cases and a total of 11 defendants that were charged, convicted, and sentenced here in the District of Idaho. This investigation took place over the course of many months, spanned from Idaho to Arizona, and involved the cooperative efforts of 10 law enforcement agencies in Idaho. The defendants that were charged and convicted in this case participated in a large fentanyl and methamphetamine drug trafficking conspiracy that sourced the drugs from Mexico, smuggled them over the border into the United States, and transported them to Idaho for distribution. This investigation resulted in the seizure of over 48,000 fentanyl pills and 4 pounds of methamphetamine. Much of the investigation focused on the Magic Valley area, and this case successfully hindered the flow of fentanyl into Idaho and into the Magic Valley area. As listed in the press release that we gave you, the defendants that were sentenced are as follows. Austin Chad Lee, 29 of Twin Falls, was sentenced to 140 months in prison. Arafat Ramirez, 43 of Jerome, was sentenced to 140 months in prison. Brandon Aaron Dana, 37 of Leodore, was sentenced to 120 months in prison. Tina Jane Morris, 46 of Pocatello, was sentenced to 97 months in prison. Sammy Davy Martinez, 49 of Nampa, was sentenced to 78 months in prison. Jamie Lee Coltrane, 36 of Rupert, was sentenced to 48 months in prison. Jenica Ann Johnson, 31 of Pocatello, was sentenced to 48 months in prison. Daniel Ross Coltrane, 40 of Paul, was sentenced to 25 months in prison. Rosa Ramirez, 64 of Jerome, was sentenced to 24 months in prison. Rachel Dixon, 36 of Boise, was sentenced to 3 years probation. And Layla Vanessa Ramirez Martinez, 35 of Jerome, was sentenced to 2 years of probation. I commend the outstanding investigative efforts of the Idaho State Police, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the sheriff's offices from Ada, Twin Falls, Minidoka, and Cassia County, the city police departments for Pocatello, Nampa, and Garden City, as well as the Idaho Department of Corrections, that all participated in this investigation. The sentencings in this case highlight the serious threat that fentanyl and methamphetamine traffickers pose to Idaho and our communities, and it also represents the commitment that we have to stop them. This case is yet another example of the flow of dangerous drugs from Mexico into the United States and eventually ending up in Idaho. These drugs significantly endanger our citizens and our communities. I am very appreciative of the support that the state of Idaho and Idaho Governor Brad Little, the Idaho State Police, and the county sheriffs and city police departments provide to the United States Department of Justice to address the lethal threat posed by dangerous drugs being smuggled from Mexico. I thank our law enforcement partners for the dedication to these important cases, which help keep Idaho a safe and wonderful place to live. And I will now turn it over to Governor Brad Little.
Thank you, Justin. It's not lost on me about the communities that were listed. From our biggest community to 2 of our smallest communities. This is a problem that's obviously permeates our state, and the cooperation that Justin just alluded to basically epitomizes the best efforts of all of Idaho with our partners in the local government, our partners at the federal government to address this. When I talk to Idahoans constantly, the one thing that and part of the reason people are moving to Idaho is because they want to be safe. Public safety is a huge driver of Idaho's growth. Our high quality of life drives economic opportunities. But without public safety, our quality of life is not possible. That's why I made our Operation Esto Perpetua a top priority for this administration. This initiative championed historic investments in the Idaho State Police with a particular focus on fentanyl, drug trafficking, and human trafficking. With those investments, the leadership of Colonel Gardner, that runs the state police, and the rest of his team, we were able to contribute so much more to the shared effort to get drugs off our streets. I would like to highlight for a moment some of the big wins we had this session with the legislature. We secured a new Special Assistant U.S. Attorney in North Idaho to focus solely on putting away drug traffickers. We strengthened Idaho's laws related to immigration enforcement, both through the signing of my executive order and the Border Security and Immigration Enforcement Act that was House Bill 83. I think anyone in the room today would tell you drug trafficking and our country's immigration policy are directly linked. In a matter of weeks, President Trump took steps to completely turn the situation at the border around. Here are some of the border successes in 2 to 3 months since the president took office. Illegal crossings have declined to the lowest level ever recorded, down 94% from February of 2024 and down 96% from an all-time high. 2 years ago, the U.S. Border Patrol agents encountered 1,500 illegal immigrants every day in the El Paso sector alone. Now, they see roughly 80 a day amid President Trump's unprecedented efforts. The Department of Homeland Security announced that arrests of criminal illegal immigrants have doubled. President Trump declared a national emergency at the border and deployed the military to secure our nation. Illegal immigrants are flat out just turning around in droves amid the crackdown. These changes will be felt at the local level with fewer drugs on our streets. Our law enforcement partners from the federal level to the local level work closely with the Idaho State Police to keep our people safe. I want to congratulate everyone in the room for reaching this pivotal moment. Today's news doesn't just keep us on track to protect Southern Idaho, it keeps us on track to protect the entirety of the state of Idaho. Thank you very much.
Now turn it over to ASAC Rob Wardle for comments from the DEA.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank our state and local partners, as well as U.S. Attorney's Office, on this for our cooperation in this case, as well as to congratulate everybody who participated in this investigation congratulate them on a job well done. During this investigation, teamwork was paramount. The cooperation that we received in Idaho with our state and local, as well as our other federal counterparts here, is amazing. We know that we work better as a team, and the amount of resources and manpower that we can bring to an investigation as a team is the only way you can do a case of this magnitude. During this investigation, there was nearly 50,000 fentanyl pills that were seized, any one of which could have contained a lethal dose. And by getting this off the street, I'm sure we have prevented possible overdoses or deaths. Additionally, with the folks that were arrested and the seriousness of their sentencing, it's clear that Idaho and the U.S. Attorney's Office is serious about taking these people off the streets and giving them significant sentences. DEA intends to continue our cooperation with the state and locals to identify and to target additional traffickers, as we do every day. Our folks are out there working hard every day, putting in long hours to try and get traffickers and drugs off the street and to remove these threats from our communities. And we'll continue to do so. And again, I congratulate everybody that participated on a job well done.
Thank you. Major Staley, Idaho State Police.
Good morning, I'm Sean Staley. I'm the Eastern Major for the Idaho State Police. And then on behalf of Colonel Gardner, I'd just like to say that kind of the same things, that congratulations to all the law enforcement agents and agencies that work together tirelessly to see this investigation through to completion. It's a great example of what we can accomplish with teamwork and cooperation. And without a doubt, I can attest that removing this poison from our communities has saved lives. And so I'm grateful for all of our people who have worked hard on that. I'd also like to acknowledge the importance of community support in our work. You may not realize this, but the reason we do the work that we do is because we love the support and the communities in which we live and serve. And so we could not do this without your support. So continue to support your local law enforcement services, and together we can, achieve great things and keep Idaho safe. Thank you.
Thank you. We're happy to take any questions that you have.